What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Dose with Dylan Davis. As always, I'm your host, Dylan, and you can follow me on Twitter at DylanJD98. And it is another edition of Mondays with Scotty, as Gant and I are joined by our man, Scotty. You can follow him on Twitter at Scotty Drowned. Before we get into today's show, guys, we do have a lot to unpack, as usual, on a Monday after a long weekend of Philadelphia sports action. We do have a message from our sponsors at XL Media and BetRivers. So here you guys go.
Hey, what's up, guys? March Madness is here. The NBA and NHL are both in full swing. Baseball opening day is coming up, while we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports. We are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match of up to $250. Don't miss out on this opportunity for some free money, baby.
There you guys have it. 100% match up to $250 at BetRivers. So go use that now if you haven't already. We have a few comments before we get started. Abe, what is going on? Anything less than a blowout for the Sixers Saturday night would have been a failure. What's going on, fellas? Matthew says, what's going on? I believe this is Sixers Wired. What's going on, Brock? And John, waiting for Wednesday. That's all. Sixers do indeed take on the Brooklyn Nets Wednesday night. So that will be a lot of fun to break down for you guys on Wednesday. But first, we do have a full weekend of Philadelphia action to unpack. The Phillies take 1 of 3 in Atlanta versus the Braves. A very controversial call at home plate in the top of the top of the 9th inning last night, as Alec Boehm may or may not have touched home plate. Again, I'll let you examine that one later. And then they take on the Mets tonight. Hopefully the rain holds off. They're in New York for a 4-game series. And our 76ers had a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday night, where they lose to the New Orleans Pelicans 101-94. Zion Williamson just, I guess, listened to Scotty Talks NBA Mondays because he heard what I had to say about him a few weeks ago, and he didn't take it lightly on our Sixers. And then they bounce back in OKC versus the Thunder and handle the Thunder 117-93. And I get it. It was just the Thunder, but they took care of business. The starters really didn't have to play the entire fourth quarter or end of the third quarter. So we'll dissect all of that. But first, Gint, Scott, how were your guys' weekends?
It was good. It was good. Too quick.
Yeah. How your vacation ended, Gint?
What happened?
Your vacation ended? You told me you were on vacation.
Yeah. Well, the vacation was cut short because I went to work Friday.
Scott, how was your weekend?
It was very chill. Of course, just sat back, watched some Sixers. Always work on Saturdays, so I had to work. But got a big week this week, moving into a new house. So just getting ready, getting packed up, getting everything ready to go. I'm headed out to that Nets game as well. I saw somebody in the
oh boy,
they're going. So maybe I'll get guys before I head out there on Wednesday or something. But I'm excited for it.
Can't wait for that Wednesday game. Got lower level seats, right across from the Nets bench too. Talk your shit. Psyched for the Mavs game. Go Sixers. Expect Joel to demolish the unicorn if playing. Also, Sixers made a move at the buyout market. We can discuss that a little bit. They signed Anthony Tolliver to a 10-day contract. He's not playing tonight. I believe he will be joining the team. I think Pompey tweeted it. that he'll be joining the team Wednesday. So that'll be fun to just get a new toy, so to speak, and see how he fits. More Anthony Tolliver probably means less Mike Scott, and I'm all on board. Scott, I see the new hoodie as well.
Yeah, man. We got the snake in the building, so had to grab something new for the playoffs, get some new gear. But
Abe hit Topgolf on Saturday. Abe definitely dropped
Love
the bag.
Topgolf is A1, man.
Topgolf is amazing.
Abe probably dropped a bag of Topgolf. Oh my god! Especially, how many people did you go with, Abe? You need to go with a minimum of like 4 to afford that effing pod. But where do you guys want to begin? Should we start with that Pelicans loss and kind of bounce back and forth for the Sixers recap? Scott, I'll throw it to you. I guess my main point of this weekend was, I get it's the Thunder. I get they were without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they were down a couple other players as well. But the bottom line is, I was looking to see how the Sixers responded after a piss-poor loss in New Orleans. How will they respond? And they responded pretty damn well. I was happy to see that Joel Embiid played in the back-to-back. They didn't have Tobias Harris or Danny Green in the second night of the back-to-back, and they still took care of business. So just talk to me about that, I guess, overall, just how you thought they responded, even though it was lesser competition, so to speak.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I agree with you. Exactly what you said at the beginning. You know, it was a great bounce back. They didn't do anything that they weren't supposed to do. So that's all you can expect. That's all you can want from this game. My takeaways, obviously, Joel struggled on Friday night against the Pelicans. He had some trouble with Steven Adams, who plays physical. Was kind of grabbing at his knees a little bit, getting tossed around a little bit. I was actually excited to see him play in that back-to-back. That shows me that they have a lot of confidence in Joel's knees. So, you know, to play him on the road back-to-back. So that was exciting to see him then bounce back in a game where he should. You know, it's like a shoot-around for him out there, getting to the rack and fadeaway jump shot. He just does so much. But the other part was then, you know, everybody's been picking on Ben. He decided to take 2 jump shots in that game. And as funny and humorous as that sounds, it is a good sign to see him confident enough to take it, even if it is against the Thunder.
I know y'all talked about it before, but that Ben elbow jumper was yummy. That's definitely one way to confidence. That's definitely a word to describe it. Again, talk to me about just how they bounce back, because when I'm looking at the numbers strictly from that New Orleans game, we know that Zion dropped like 37, 15, and almost a triple-double, and he killed us. But it felt like their interior defense was a wreck. It felt like almost every Zion bucket was uncontested at the rim, too easy for him. The one play that sticks out, I believe it was in the third quarter or maybe in the fourth quarter, and it was at the second half. After a timeout, you know, the Sixers are kind of climbing back into the game, and Zion gets the inbound pass and has a free lane right to the rack for a layup to start that possession. And they got bullied on the boards. It was one of the first games I've seen the Sixers team with Embiid get bullied on the boards and in the paint. I had the numbers here. I believe the glass, they lost by like 9 to 11 rebounds, but they got killed in the paint. New Orleans had 66 points in the paint. The Sixers only had 34. So again, just talk to me about what you saw over this weekend. You can go either game, and kind of like how I asked Scott, how did they bounce back in your opinion, even though OKC is OKC?
Yeah, no, I'll definitely start with the Pelicans game. And, I mean, dude, Zion is the talent we all thought he'd be, right? He 37, 15, he only shoots the ball inside the same amount of feet that Ben does. But, dude, I am glad that the Sixers did not draft Brandon Ingram. That guy, like, dude, Zion's got to do what he can to get out of there. This play, they need to just ship off Brandon Ingram. But no, Steven Adams is like one of the random guys in the NBA that can really match Joel's physicality and throw a real body at him. There's not many people that can do it. He is one of the guys that's strong enough. People always say he's like one of the strongest players in the NBA. But overall, the effort just really wasn't the best against the Pelicans. The game felt like really weird the whole night. Like Joel shot 5 of 16. Seth Curry didn't make a shot. So it was just a really weird game. And then the game Saturday, like everyone said, we should blow out the Thunder, and we did. And that was without Tobias, and Danny Green didn't play as well. Dude, another thing I wanted to highlight. Korkmaz shot 7 threes in the first quarter. against the Thunder. I've never seen anything. Dude, 7 threes. That's like ridiculous.
I didn't realize that. So I know he finished 4 of 10. What did he start in that first quarter from 3?
I have no clue, but I just know at one point he shot 7 threes in the first quarter, and I was like, this guy hasn't. Yeah, it was just such, like he has to be one of the most weird players ever. Has to be.
He is very. I have a really bad love-hate relationship with that dude.
So do I, but I think kind of just to summarize him up. So he did have 20 points, 40% shooting from 3, 7 of 13 from the field against the Thunder. But when we had Tyrone Johnson on the show, he kind of just summed it up perfectly. Okay, congratulations. He did it against the Thunder, and he can do it against bad teams. He can't get that shot off against top teams. And if he does, then that's a nice added piece, a nice added 3-point shooter off the bench if he can get it off against the Brooklyns, the Miamis, the Milwaukees of this East. But, congrats that he did it against OKC. Was his best performance in I don't know how long. Abe said Korkmaz had 5 steals too. I did not know that. But good for Perk.
I did just want to throw a number out there just to kind of calm everybody down about that Friday loss. Zion last night had 38 points against the Cavaliers. Make that the 13th game in a row that he's had at least 30 points. His last 13 games, he's had at least 30 points a game, which is insane because he had the 37 on Friday against Philly. So, I mean, this guy's on a tear. I wouldn't even put much thought to that, honestly.
So one guy that I want to highlight too that's been struggling a little bit, and he just struggled over the weekend as well. So we talk a lot about how Danny Green's finding his legs and how Danny Green from 3 and specifically in the corners has been lights out, and it's been a welcome sight. You would hope that throwing that along with Seth Curry's 3-point shooting would, be a dynamic pairing that the Sixers team would have, especially with the spacing they're trying to utilize. Well, Seth has struggled over the last couple of games. He shot 0 of 7 for 0 points against the Pelicans. He was 0 of 2 from 3. And then he comes out, he gets 11 against the Thunder, but he shot 1 of 5 from 3. Seth has been very up and down. I know he had the COVID stunt, and, he was hot before COVID. Then he was pretty piss poor after COVID, and then he found his legs a little bit, and he got hot for a couple games, but now it seems like he's back down to struggling a little bit. Scott or again, it doesn't matter who wants to take this first, but what are your thoughts on Seth Curry lately, and is it a concern for you at all? And does that kind of play into our conversations we've had about where George Hill will play? You know what I mean? Like,
just saw Brock in the comments. Oh man, but I'll hop on this one. I think I guess it's not as concerning when you have a guy like George Hill that's about to come in, to the rotation. Because at the end of the day, Seth, playing like this is costing himself minutes because George Hill is going to feed right into those minutes. Doc, I don't think he'll hesitate to, son-in-law or not, I don't think he'll hesitate to put George Hill with the starters a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying George Hill is going to start. I don't want to start that conversation again.
No.
But I think he would, start to eat into Seth's minutes. And when Seth isn't hitting shots, he's a liability on defense. It's really not that great to have him on the floor if he's not hitting shots. One of the guys down there in the comments mentioned he's hesitating on a lot of those open looks. It's very annoying. And then you'll see him.
Someone with
too.
Dude's got a rocket launcher attached to his body, and he hesitates. I've never seen anything like it. Never seen a dude that shoots the 3 like that, and he'll hesitate.
It's almost like the opposite of Mike Scott. It's almost like he hit the side of a barn with no hesitation at all.
I do love this comment from Abe, though, because his mind's in the right place. Again, we have to take it one game at a time. We are fighting for that 1 seed, and we know there is a tough stint coming up. You got Dallas now, and this is a different Luka than the Luka we played couple months ago when Ben strapped him up. You come home to the Clippers, you come home to the Nets, you then I forget who else the Suns and the Warriors, I think, and then they go to Milwaukee for a back-to-back in Milwaukee. So it is a rough stretch, but I do love this comment. Ask me in a couple of weeks when we get closer to playoff time. He's going to need to get hot before the playoffs, and it's something we've talked about at TPL, and Dives and I have had this conversation at different moments as well, is sometimes less Seth Curry is more Seth Curry, if that makes sense to you guys. Seth Curry in a smaller sample size, we will see. Oh boy. Let's see. Just going down these comments. He needs that Duncan Robinson instinct. Danny Green and Seth switched positions. LOL. Danny was the guy that was hesitating open shots. Now he's letting that puppy. Danny Green also has a quick ass release, dude. Like he'll get the ball in the corner and it doesn't seem like he's open at all. And that thing's going up. So again, you can talk about it as well. I know you said it's almost like him and Mike Scott switch bodies, but are you just concerned at all with Seth's recent hesitation, shooting struggles, or is it an attribute to? Can you attribute it to he's playing 30 plus minutes a game? About does that go into it too?
I just don't think it's something to worry about at all. Isn't he like top 4 in 3-point percentage of all time in the NBA?
Yeah,
I mean you don't just naturally lose that. I'm not worried about Seth shooting the ball. But dude, something I want to throw at you guys, and I don't want to be this guy, but like, what's up with George Hill, dude? He's joined the team soon. He's right around the corner, and he's be here soon. We'll see him in a little. We're gonna see Anthony Tolliver before him.
The way that I understand it, and I mean it makes plenty of sense, is the fact that with that surgery, like shoot around and all that stuff's different. They have to continue to rehab it and make sure like that a slap on the hand or a slap on the wrist or contact to it doesn't put him out for the rest of the year or it doesn't aggravate it. So that's the reasoning, I think. So I'm going to trust what they're saying, that he is close. I'm going to trust that Doc firmly believes that he only needs 10 or a little more games to get him acclimated. So he still has a week or a week and a half to get George Hill ready to go. So I'm not worried. I truly don't think that Daryl Morey made that move without knowing that he will be back at a certain time. I think that they just, were covering up when they first made the trade, saying, he'll be here very shortly. And then, it's just getting I think it's just that Sixers mindset of we've seen how long some of these injuries can drag out. And that's what we're kind of worried for. But I think he's fine. Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna just hold out faith that he's gonna be good and that Morey made this deal out of good faith. We got to give him time, I guess, to get acclimated. The COVID doesn't make it easier as well. You got to go through those protocols, but at least he's with the team. I am looking at the injury report for tonight. I don't think it's very accurate, but he's not listed there. Although Anthony Tolliver is listed day to day and Tobias Harris is listed day to day. So that's kind of interesting. But I wouldn't worry about it too much. I do hope that he comes back soon enough to get some run in before the playoffs. That would be my only concern.
I agree. But I mean, I get the concern because it's like you just want to see it. At least that's how I feel. Like I just want to see it and I want to see how he fits into this team. Like we're hoping that he fits into this team. And it's like, okay, we're waiting. He's soon. It's close. He's on the 1 yard line. And then I don't want to hear another one of those. He's on the 1 yard line and then he's out for the year. That's something that I expect to happen. But is there anything else you guys want to touch on? Obviously, another thing with Joel Embiid's struggling performance in New Orleans. There was video of him still in uniform right back on the floor after the game was over, getting up jump shots. He was pissed off. He didn't sit out of the second half of the back-to-back. He came out, so like you said, Scott, 27 points, but 27 points in 27 minutes. 10 of 17 from the field, 7 of 9 from the free throw line, I believe. So the one thing I will say is battling down there with Steven Adams was scaring me because I with you, saw him grab that knee when he came down one time. I was like, oh, my God, dude. Like, if he just re-injured that knee, I will literally cry. I'll cry like a little bitch. I don't care. I'm so excited for this playoff run. And he just re-injured that knee. Like, come on, man. But is there anything else that you guys want to touch on about those two games before we move on?
Nothing about those games, but I want to talk about this dude, Anthony Tolliver.
All right, yeah. That happened over the weekend. So let's get into
First question: is he allowed to play in the playoffs if they were?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So the rule that was tripping people up, he just had to be released or waived by that deadline. He didn't have to be signed by that Friday 5 p.m. thing or whatever.
Okay. Second of all, he's terrible. I just dude, I was so excited for the buyout market. And that's what we got to. It was thrown to us. You want to talk about something that was just left on your doorstep.
Listen. Oh man, I don't know how I could top that, but Scott, again, you can answer first, and then Scott, you can go off of it. But anything that replaces Mike Scott's minutes, I'm okay with. And
I think Mike Scott's far better than this dude.
I think that Mike Scott could never in a bazillion years stuff Giannis at the rim. And all I needed was one video clip of Anthony Tolliver doing that, and I'm bought in. Secondly, Anthony Tolliver 2 years ago, I believe, shot over 40% from three. His numbers are a little bit down this year, but he's a career 38% shooter from the 3-point line. He can space the floor more. And dude, anything over Mike Scott, I will take.
Well, the Hive looked good the other night.
Are you kidding me?
Come on, man.
Scott, dude, I can't argue. Anthony, you throw the name Anthony Tolliver. I'm just, you know what it is? We said it all. I say it all the time. It's like a new toy. And the fact that they signed him, I wanted them to play tonight. I just want to see how, dude, if Anthony Tolliver comes out against the Brooklyn Nets, because he's going to play because he's on a 10-day contract. So they're going to see what they got in him in those 10 days, that 5 or 6 games, however many they have in that window. And they're going to see what they got. So he's getting run, okay? Go ahead.
Hold on. Side note real quick.
Okay.
Patriots just released Julian Edelman. So if you can get your Tampa Bay Buccaneers bets on where he'll play his first game, get him in quick.
Yeah, that's very true. Damn, I would actually put a lot of money that he signs with Tampa Bay. But Abe said Anthony Tolliver will be buyout MVP. Look, it's just a new toy. It's if he comes out against the Brooklyn Nets on Wednesday night and goes 3 of 5 from 3, I'm in, dude.
I'll buy his jersey.
That's all it takes is for him to hit a couple shots, and Philadelphia loves their bottom of the bench player, hard players anyways, TJ McConnells and stuff of the world.
Well,
but
and here's another thing.
Go ahead,
Scott. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think somebody else said it there in the comments. He's not gonna play but 5 minutes. Mike Scott wasn't gonna play in the playoffs either. So at the end of the day, like Dylan said, if you can just expend him for Mike Scott, then that's a win.
Yeah.
But hopefully neither of them see minutes in reality.
Well, exactly. But that he reassures me that Mike Scott definitely will not be on the floor if he performs. The other thing that I'm just hopeful for with Anthony Tolliver minutes is he's going to provide the threat of the spacing, right? That's all you need with this, depending on who's out there with him. Justin said he shot 41.5% from 3 the last 3 years, or last year on 3.2 attempts per game with the Grizzlies, right? So the threat's there. So he's going to have to be guarded in the corner of the wing, wherever he's playing, right? So that A, that's key. B, can he knock them down? C, if he's not knocking them down, but he still provides the threat and he gets an open, or he's semi-open and the ball gets in his hands, maybe Anthony Tolliver will swing it and get a better look rather than Mike Scott. I got the ball and it's going up. Just not wasting a possession. I get it. Mike Scott had 12.
Not with the new haircut.
Yeah, the braids, dude. I got it. The braids.
The new haircut, dude.
The braids.
Mike Scott's a trip, man.
He might start in the playoffs with that new haircut.
Yeah. This kid's such a troll, man. Dude, Anthony Tolliver is not a great ball player, right? You can't come out and call Anthony Tolliver trash and then try to tell me with a straight face that the Hive's back. After one decent performance.
One Saturday game against Oklahoma City Thunder.
Hold on. This show is getting very off track really quickly. Not off track, but this kid chimes in. Yeah, I do want to talk about something. Anthony Tolliver. A, can he play in the playoffs? Okay, yeah. B, he's awful. Yeah.
I think I would have rather Jabari Parker.
I don't know, man.
And that's a Blue Devil speaking up there too.
The difference between Tolliver and Jabari Parker, and mind you, I'm a Duke guy, so I got a little bit of love in my heart for Jabari. At least Tolliver's good at something. You know what I mean? What is Jabari Parker's calling card? What would he bring to the table?
He went to Montverde. That's calling card.
like Jabari's going to bring, I feel like nothing but negatives. I mean, he's not a knockdown 3-point shooter. At least Tolliver's got that, but
Yeah.
it was a disappointing. Like out of all the names that we were hearing in the buyout market, I mean,
We
even
get Anthony Tolliver.
nice, but like it was disappointing in that sense. But we didn't need. It's not lacking a major. We didn't have major.
All I need is one performance than the Hive could give you in the course of a season, and I'm bought in. I'm bought. Anthony Tolliver for 4 minutes in the playoffs, give it to me. It's better because that means Mike Scott's at 0, right? unless in case of injury or something like that. Let's see. Phillies will be lucky if we even have a game today. Might get postponed. Yeah, it is supposed to rain, but I think they'll get tonight's game in. But Thursday in New York is supposed to be even worse. Let's see. Do we get to see KD or Kyrie Wednesday if they are going to play back to back?
So their game, you heard about what happened?
Yeah, it got postponed.
Yeah, their game got postponed, and everyone thinks it's going to be tomorrow. So we will play them Wednesday.
So it would be a back to back.
So it'd be, but that's if they're playing tomorrow. I don't know if that's official.
Okay.
But Kyrie wasn't even supposed to play tonight. So
what's going on with him, by the way?
Some family things. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
after he gets ejected. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And then someone like put up the video with him and Dennis Schroeder. What'd you say?
So that's a blue devil for you.
Nadir, yes, my friend. We have discussed this previous shows. We'll discuss it closer to the playoffs. I'm going to say 9 would be my guess for the playoff rotation. 8's slim, dude. 8's really splend. What? Postponed? Are you talking about the Nets? I guess this is a Nets fan.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Because it says we'll be lucky if we even have a game today.
Or he might be talking about the Phillies getting postponed today because I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Phillies game want to get postponed to something that happened in Minneapolis. No other games are getting postponed.
I'm just going off what the word.
No, I know. I know the Twins, Red Sox,
Nets because they played Minnesota tonight.
Yeah, that game's postponed, and the Twins, Red Sox game is postponed. So that's why. But playoff rotation. Just before we move on, 9 guys? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I think 9. I think the starters, obviously, George Hill, Shake Milton, Dwight Howard's going to see the spot minutes where Embiid doesn't play, and Matisse Thybulle will get minutes as well, especially in a series against Brooklyn, Boston. And that's all I see.
All right, we do have Justin has a split of Mike Scott's numbers to Anthony Tolliver's numbers real quickly. Anthony Tolliver last year shot 41% from 3 on 3.2 attempts per game with Memphis. Mike Scott this year is shooting 34% from 3 on 3.1 per game.
Get his numbers with the braids.
Shut up, dude.
Pretty sure he's up to 47% since he got the braids.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so Timberwolves Nets postponed. Is this true? I haven't seen any other games be canceled.
I didn't see anything as well.
Well, we'll keep you guys updated with that if it does get postponed, but I haven't seen 47% since the braids. All right, let's move on to some baseball recap over the weekend, and then we'll come back to Sixers Mavs in a few minutes, and then we'll get into Mets Phillies tonight as well. Hopefully they have it's confirmed postponed. Dude, what is the Nets? Yeah. I'm so highly confused what's going on right now. The Nets and the Timberwolves are postponed. That's all that I know. It's the only game I know that's postponed. Okay, so Phillies lose 2 of 3 in Atlanta to the Braves. They win in a controversial fashion last night at home plate in the top of the 9th. They improved to 6-3 on the season. So just to recap your weekend Phillies games, they lost game 1 in Atlanta, 8-1. Zach Wheeler started that game. He did not have his best stuff that night. He got out of a couple jams early in the ball game, but it wasn't good enough. Then it was either Acuna or Freddie Freeman. I think it was Ronald Acuna Jr. hit a home run late in that game, or in the middle of that game, and it kind of turned everything around. Then it became 6-1. Game 2, bats come a little bit alive. The Phillies lose 5-4 to the Braves. They opened up with a 2-0 lead in the top of the first from the bat of Didi Gregorius. And then what happens to George Ryder's Cy Young Award winner, Zach Eflin? Again, He follows up a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the first with a single, double, home run, 3-2 Braves, bottom of the first. Kutch ties it up later in the game with a solo shot. Bryce gives him the lead 2 innings later, or an inning later, with a solo shot, 4-3 for his first of the year. Very next inning, Phillies bullpen gives it back, 4-4. Alvarado comes in, bottom of the 8th, has a fielding mistake. I don't know why the runner took off from third, like on contact basically, but Alvarado tried to turn to make the double play at first, didn't keep an eye on the runner, and then he ends up scoring, and they get no outs out of it. Phillies lose 5-4. And then this is the game we're going to highlight because it happened last night. Who cares about the other 2 losses? Yes, I'm being petty because they were losses. The Phillies win 7-6. They trailed 3-0 to start the game in the top of the first, and then they chipped away little by little. Rhys Hoskins hits a solo shot last night. Bryce Harper homers in back-to-back games for his second of the year on a solo shot, and Didi Gregorius hits a 3-run home run. And like I said, controversial ending. Didi Gregorius in the top of the 9th with 1 out. Alec Boehm led off the inning with a double, got to third base. Gregorius hits a shallow fly ball down the left field line. Ozuna goes home with it. And let's get into it, boys. Again, Alec Boehm, safe or not safe? Don't worry about it, Ken. I want to talk about it.
Sorry. I don't know, dude. Does anyone know? Like, the ump seems to think so. I'm not going to get into if he was safe or not because, like, that's not our job. But I'm going to say he was safe because he got called safe and we won because of it. But I've never seen anything like that play. And the whole, like, we shouldn't even have instant replay if this is going to be a thing. Yeah. Like, it's just some crybaby stuff. And then the trash on the field after. And the Phillies fans should be used to this.
Yeah, you know what that is? That's trash fans, and that's trash broadcasting, okay? Okay? Because a Phillies fan in Atlanta is getting, a lot of attention because he does a really nice, sweet, kind thing and gives a home run to a Braves fan. And then, they signed Freddie Freeman, gave him a ball. We all saw that video last night. And then they got to throw in their little Philadelphia jab that we should be used to this. Give me a damn break. Scott, I'll throw this to you. I don't know if you saw the play or not, or if you saw the video today. So what I will say is when they were going over it, I would have been pissed if it was reversed because the replays that ESPN were showing, I didn't think were inconclusive. Did it look like he might have missed the home plate at the time? Yeah, but I was like, you can't, you called it safe. There's no way in hell you can overturn that. Then after the game ends, I'm seeing different screenshots, and you can clearly tell that his big toe, in fact, did not hit the corner of home plate. But either way, at the same time, I couldn't even see if a tag was applied or when it was. So I don't know. It was a whole big mess, but he was called safe. They stuck with it. You know what? I'm going to say it. It was the right call. Got it? I'm kidding. He was out. However, cry about it. That's all I got to say. Cry about it. You lost 7-6. Like I said, Drew Smiley, the starter last night for Atlanta, wants to bitch and complain after the game about instant replay and how they got the call wrong and how bad it was. Drew Smiley got destroyed last night. Maybe don't give up 5 runs in about 5 innings for your ball club and not bitch and complain about a home plate call in the top of the 9th inning. That's an idea. But either way, the Phillies come away with a much-needed W and not get swept by the Braves. Scott, just talk to me about the play at home plate if you saw it. And then B, I want you guys to talk about this for a second with me. I know it's very early in the season. There was only 1 game. But when the Phillies start out as hot as they did opening weekend, sweeping the Braves, how big is a win like last night to not then in turn get swept in Atlanta? Because then that just wipes away your sweep against the Braves to start. Now you're 4-2 against the Braves to start the year instead of sweeping them, getting swept by them.
Yeah, I think it was a really important swing, in my opinion, when you look at what you mentioned. We swept them that first weekend, and then to come out and just not get swept. I mean, that was a win, like, all around for me, to just not get swept and totally give those games back to Atlanta. But, as far as the play at home plate, I get it. Like, it's annoying. We've seen it as Philly fans a lot with the different teams and the different ways refs screw us over. So I get it, but get over it. It's 162 games in the baseball season. Let it ride. It's the umpires making the calls. I saw people calling the Phillies cheaters, blaming it on the fan. You can't blame that on the fans. It's the ump making the call. I mean, that's not on Philadelphia. So, take that for whatever you want to take it for. I did see Dansby Swanson. He actually called the Atlanta fans out, and I thought that was really cool and respectful of him. To not take that easy route and just like undermine the game of baseball and say, this and that is bullshit, whatever the case may be, like Smiley did. Rather, he just commented on how the fans were reacting to the game and how that ruins the game of baseball even more. So I think he was speaking on what's more important here. We don't have to slander Philadelphia. We didn't make the call. It's not on us. We don't make those decisions.
We didn't throw trash on the field.
And at the end of the day, the highlight of that series this weekend was a Philadelphia fan giving a baseball to an Atlanta Braves fan after an Atlanta Braves Freddie Freeman knocks the ball out of the park. I mean, what better sportsmanship can you show? So for them to say all that stuff on the broadcast last night was just ridiculous.
It was very frustrating, and I find myself – do you guys find yourself like this? Like, every time we play a team, it just seems like I find myself hating their fan base a little bit more, or like a new fan base a little bit more. Braves fans – so, well, we just discussed last game, whatever. You want to throw trash and shit and whatever else on the field because you're mad at a call at home plate. It's not like the game was 2-1 and it was a very defensive close game and the ump called that. It was 6-6 at the time, made it 7-6. Okay. So it was a very high scoring game. It was a very fun and entertaining game to watch up until that point. But then was it the first game, I believe, of the video of the dumb ass Atlanta Braves fan chirping at Bryce Harper when Bryce and JT are in the dugout. You'll never be better than Acuna. You'll never be better than Acuna. Bryce Harper quite clearly turns around and is explaining to him how to pronunciate his player's name, Acuna. The dude posted on social media and is like acting like he clowned Bryce Harper or something. You trash the field. You bitch and cry. You probably want this game like reviewed by the MLB or whatever in the 9th game of the season. And you can't even pronounce your best player or top 2 best players' name on your own team. You know how embarrassing that is? That would be like, I'm trying to like come up with an example of a Phillies player that like we would mispronounce his name and like try to clown Atlanta. Yeah, Jeffries. Like, but that's like closer. I'm just thinking of like something even worse. Like, Boom. Someone was like, "You'll never be better than Bomb. You'll never be better than Bomb." Like, shut your mouth.
Dude.
Yeah, and I agree. They did the right thing by standing with the call. Inconclusive.
Someone tweeted today, "Good morning. Boom touched home." It was so funny, dude.
I still don't know if he touched home plate.
Matty Mo is no Mo.
Yeah, Matty Mo has not had the greatest start to the season. However, I will say the Fightins have 2 wins in Matty Mo's starts. They have won both games that Matty Mo has started. So take that for whatever you will. Boys, how about we do this? We have about 20 minutes left. Guys, stick with us. Continue to comment with us because we are getting back to Sixers. Since we're on the topic of the Phillies, let's start with the Phillies-Mets game tonight, and then we'll get back to the Sixers and look at this Mavs matchup and what the keys to success will be there. So tonight for the Phillies, Chase Anderson is on the mound versus David Peterson for the New York Mets. Like I said, there's going to be rain all day, all night. Hopefully it's not bad enough to where this game can get played. It's the start of a 4-game stand in New York. So the starting lineup for the Phillies. Wish I had like some music to play in the background. That's my next goal for the show. To have some like pum, like some shit to put in the back. Kutch leading off, Reese, Harper, JT, Baum, Segura, Didi, Quinn, Anderson. Somehow, some way on Adam Hazley's birthday, Roman Quinn has found himself back in the starting lineup. Joe Girardi, I love you, my guy, but the fact that you came out the one day and said that you feel like his last 5 plate appearances have been solid made me want to throw up in my mouth because Roman Quinn has been nothing short of absolutely awful this season.
He's a good ball player.
He is awful, dude.
Dude, is he on your list? He has to be on your list at this point.
He's at the top of the damn list. He's top 3 on this list.
He's over the hive.
It's purely, it has nothing to do with his personality. Like, his personality doesn't piss me off. He sucks. That is the only reason he can run. He can run his ass back to the dugout after getting thrown out at home plate. Okay, or run his ass after getting struck out. How about that? My God, but there's a few things I want to look at tonight. Bryce Harper is homered in back-to-back games in Atlanta. Is he starting to heat up? And Rhys Hoskins versus David Peterson. So I was at the game that Peterson started in the series win over the Mets with Mark earlier this week, and he was talking about it on the show beforehand, and he was telling me Rhys's numbers versus Peterson, and I'm like I didn't know the history between the two but I do know how Rhys has played against the Mets. Well, what does Rhys turn around and do? Home run off Peterson in the bottom of the first inning, and then doubles twice in that game. So Rhys Hoskins versus Peterson, can he keep up the successful track record against him? And is Bryce Harper heating up? Boys, what are we looking for tonight? Again, I'll throw this one to you. Well, not predictions yet, but are there any part of this lineup you want to see step up tonight against the Mets?
I was going to go with the starting pitcher, Chase Anderson.
Not a bad place to begin. Much needed.
Maybe let's get out of the fourth inning. We'll try.
Yeah, it's a pretty good idea.
Especially,
especially not to cut you off, because Archie Bradley is on a 10-day injured list, so he's not available. And the bullpen had to pitch against the Braves. Gave up a lot of runs. Bullpen had to pitch against the Braves. So maybe let's get out of 4 and not have the bullpen have to pitch a lot tonight. But continue. Great point.
No, I mean, that's where I was going to start. I was going to say you got to get something out of your starting rotation tonight, or your starting pitcher, I should say. You look at the first series against the Braves, they all went 7 innings. I know our first 3 are probably a couple levels ahead of our last 2 in our starting rotation, but we need something out of Chase Anderson tonight. It can't be 3 1/3, 2 runs, 6 hits. And then also Bryce. I mean, you'd love to see this streak continue. I mean, you're not going to homer every night, but hopefully you can get on base a couple times.
David Peterson is definitely a guy to continue that streak off of, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and hopefully Rhys continues to be the greatest hitter of all time.
He's on fire, dude. And it's critical.
440 or something?
It's critical to this team's success. And again, it's super early, but it's really big. And I don't think we can stress that enough. Like, this offense, we know what JT is, we know what Bryce is, etc. But this offense takes a next step if Rhys Hoskins performs somewhat like this. He's not going to keep up 440 or whatever he's hitting right now, but something that I'm looking at, I completely agree with you, and we can continue to watch Chase Anderson tonight. Okay, yeah. It's still
Acuna was batting 440.
Corey Seidman put out this tweet the other night, and it makes me wonder if Joe Girardi did this on purpose. So he put out an article, the Phillies have clicked offensively in 1 of their 8 games. What have been their biggest issues early at the plate? And his tweet was, one of them, Phillies 7 and 8 hitters are a combined 8 for 58, hitting 138 with 24 strikeouts and 2 walks. That is, oh my God. First of all, do you know who's played in that 8 hole a majority of the games again? Mr. Roman Quinn. That's who. So that plays a big part of it.
Your favorite player.
But Gene Segura has struggled as well outside of opening the walk-off on opening day. But you look at last night and you look at the lineup tonight that I read to you guys, he's flopped Gene and Didi Gregorius. Didi's now in the 7 hole. Do you think that's why? Like, I just read you those dreadful, dreadful numbers from Gene and then the center field position in the 8 hole. Do you think he flipped that to try to, like, break up that 1-2, basically, essentially 2 outs back to back, and get a strong bat and Didi right there? What do you think, Scott?
Yeah. Just based off what you're telling me, I think it's quite obvious. You're trying to build a little bit of consistency all throughout the lineup, so you're going to split those 2 non-factors up. But yeah, I agree with the Roman Quinn hate. Man, I see everybody always talking about the base speed. If you can't get on base, it literally does not matter. But tonight, what I'm looking for, I'm kind of just feeding off what you guys said. Look for Bryce to stay hot. Look for Reese to stay active. And McCutchen woke up during that last Braves series as well. So to kind of see him show a little bit of consistency, I think this series is a good series to kind of take control and, start to build some momentum in the NL East, and get a nice lead built in there. Separate yourself a little bit from the jump. I think this is a good series to do that. You just got to hope that the Phillies are serious and they can capitalize on this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And when you look at this 4-game set here against the Mets now, so we know that we have Chase Anderson tonight, but it's not like he's going against DeGrom or Stroman. You got Anderson versus David Peterson tonight. We don't see DeGrom until game 4. So now it's Anderson. You get Nola and then Wheeler, and it's against the Mets, bottom of their rotation. I think Taiwan Walker, I think, is one of the starters for the Mets listed, and I forget who the other one is. So you get the advantage of you're not being outpitched with your 5th starter tonight, and then you have your 1-2 against the bottom of the Mets rotation, and not just from a pitching perspective to get up early in the series then, but to, for these bats to stay hot, right? They have struggled. I just read you. They've only clicked 1 of 8 games before. They obviously clicked last night. They started to click a little bit in the second game against Atlanta. It was a back-and-forth game. Kutch homered, Bryce homered. They battled 4 runs. They come out last night. They dropped 7 against Atlanta. Now against a weak Mets rotation, a weak Mets bullpen, can this offense begin to click? And then maybe you take some momentum into game 4 against DeGrom, and we see where it goes from there. So with that being said, I agree with everything that you guys said. Let's get predictions for tonight. I want to do predictions on how Chase Anderson's performance. Give me one bat that stands out tonight. Again, we'll start with you, Chase Anderson, and then a bat.
Chase Anderson is how long? You're saying?
Yeah, just your prediction. How long? How well he pitches? How many runs he gives up.
I'll say he pitches 5 innings. Yeah, I'll go 5 innings.
I hope he at least goes 5 innings.
Five innings would feel like a journey. And then a bat, I'm going to go with Rhys Hoskins. Mark gave us the illustrious stats earlier, which was awesome. Yeah. Shout out to him. And I took Rhys to homer.
Did you take the homer and the win?
And the Phillies to win, yes.
Yeah, I might have to do that too. Yeah, those odds are crazy.
I had like 3 people tailing my boys, so we're all pulling for Rhys Hoskins.
Come on, Mark, don't let us down. And then, so you're going with Rhys there. Superhero, yes, 300 is a really good batting average. Abe, 6 strikeouts in a 4-2 win. I love it. That would be huge for this Phillies, for Chase Anderson and this bullpen to hold the Mets to only 2. So I do love that. Scott, Chase Anderson, and then a bat that sticks out tonight.
So I'm going to agree. We need 5 out of Chase Anderson. We need 5. We can't do this 3-4 inning bullshit. So we need 5, and based off of that, me thinking that we could get a win tonight, I think Chase Anderson gives us that. Bat, I'm going to roll with Bryce. Stay hot. Maybe not homer, but get active. Get a hit or 2. Maybe multiple hits tonight. Rather than just going yard. So, like Gent said earlier, you don't expect him to home run every game, but just stay active. Keep your contact intact, I should say.
Superhero 18 with a hell of a hey man, I hope you're right. 8 innings of 1 hit ball and a Phillies 2-0 win. I love the optimism. So Gent, you're going with a win?
Yeah, at least if he only goes like 3. We do have Vinny V in the pen, man.
Yeah, don't start. Don't stop. I had
to be a long reliever, they said.
In this segment, I've had to discuss Braves fans, and I've had to go off on Roman Quinn. I don't need anything else. So, again, I'm assuming you're going with a win. Scott, you're going with a W as well. And I'm going to agree. I know it's Chase Anderson on the mound for the Phillies, but they just dropped a series. I know they won last night, but they just dropped a series against the Braves. I think the bats come together tonight on David Peterson. And I think they do it. I think they get on them early again, like they did on was that Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday, or Wednesday, I believe the show was. So I believe they get on him early. And as Chase Anderson, I'm going to say, ready for this, Kent? I want to say he gets pulled in the 6th. That's where I'm going to go. Like 5 2/3. Maybe he gets through 6. I'll be really happy if he gets through 6. And then as far as bats, I want to go with Baum. That's who I'm going with today. Alec Baum. I hope no one's listening and thinks I'm being serious. I'm going with Alec Boehm, people. Okay. He absolutely destroyed the cover off of baseball last time against David Peterson. What he hit that one, getting like 430 something, 420 something against David Peterson. So
I just picked it up with my front lawn.
Yeah. it came through your back window like that golf ball did the other day. So I'm going with Alec Baum. Oh my God, I almost said Baum seriously. Oh my God. I'll go with Alec Boehm as my star tonight. And I'm going to say that the Fightins win 6-4. I'm going to go 6-4. Phillies win and improve to 7-3. And then we'll detail the rest. We'll detail the rest of the series on tomorrow's show. Let's get back to the Sixers for the last 10 minutes or so of the show, guys. So they do go to Dallas for the last and final game of this 4-game road stand to take on Luka Doncic and the Mavericks. So let's preview that a little bit, and then they get to come home to like a really rough stand. So let's just take it one game at a time. I know we're ready for the playoffs, but we're not there yet. We're still fighting for the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Scott, one way to get the number 1 seed, continue to stockpile W's, right? How can the Sixers go about that tonight against Luka? Because like I said earlier, this is a different Luka than the last time we played him. He's been on fire as of late.
Yeah, so you kind of touched on it there. You got to contain Luka. Most likely, I'm pretty sure Kristaps Porzingis is going to be playing. They're coming off a loss last night, and mind you, the Mavericks are fighting for a playoff spot as well. They're in the 7th seed over in the West. Story of the season for the Mavericks, though, just overall disappointing. But at the same time, can put together some stuff and grab a win at any time. They can beat any team if KP and Luka are on their game. Looking at the Mavs last 8, 6-2 in their last 8 with wins against the Bucks, Jazz, Knicks, and Celtics, all playoff teams. So like I said, they can beat the best of the best. You don't want to take them lightly. They don't have anybody for Joel Embiid, like many teams in the NBA. You know how that goes. Feed Embiid, let him carry you, and play around that, play around his rhythm. But, you have to, Luka does struggle against Ben. That is something that somebody pointed out to me earlier today. In like their 3 matchups, Luka averages like 17 points per game with a high of 20 points. So Ben usually does defend him well. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's my main point before I throw this again is just I know a lot of people aren't going to hear this and they're going to be upset, and they're going to have their pitchforks and torches out tonight after Ben only has like 12 or 13 points again. But I don't care about offensive Ben tonight. I need him to do what he does best, and that's on the defensive end against Luka Doncic. I don't say that often, so don't get this twisted. But tonight again, the Mavericks only go as far as Luka takes them. That's been established, right? If Ben can frustrate Luka, someone said they are on a back-to-back after a tough loss to the Spurs, so they could come out hot, but, kind of weather the storm and get after it in a tight, grinded-out loss. Could be the case tonight. But if Ben can strap up on Luka like he did in the first matchup, like he has in the other 3 matchups, Scott, as you alluded to, that's where I'm looking for Ben Simmons to shine tonight. And I know they'll still be out there, even if the Sixers win by 12 and he straps up Luka and holds him to 18 points. They'll still be crying about Ben needs to score more, but I don't care about that tonight. I just want to get a win, and one way to do that is to slow down Luka Doncic. Go ahead, Gint.
Yeah, sorry, that comment, I can't speak, was really good. But, I agree with both of you about Ben and Luka, and they go as far as he does. And what Dallas is really realizing is Josh Richardson's not a very good fit with those guys. He's struggled. He's been struggling, at least from what I've seen. But I have a really bad feeling about tonight. I really do. I don't know why. I think it's just the slump Ben's been on, and I just feel like Luka's like this has been Luka's kryptonite, right? Like I feel like there's no one else he's really like struggled against the NBA that I've seen. So it's like he's gonna get him one time, right? It's just he's naturally that good. So I just feel like tonight's that night. Now I'm not saying we're not gonna win.
Right.
But I think that he might get the better end of him tonight, and you're going to see, oh, I wish we had a player like Luka. We have Ben. He doesn't shoot. So,
is there any way Ben comes out of his slump tonight in your eyes, offensively? Where I'm wrong, where my take, he doesn't score 10 points. It's like, do you foresee him? Because who's going to be his matchup defensively? They're smaller guards outside of Luka. So is Luka going to be Ben's primary or?
I doubt it.
I feel like it'll be that guy, Finney-Smith.
Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah, I don't think Maxi Kleber's playing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would assume it would be Dorian Finney-Smith or, like, someone of that nature. But, I mean, yeah, he can hop out of this thing at any moment. Don't you feel like if you get into a game where it's run and gun and he's causing havoc and he's getting turnovers, and, yeah, he could explode for 25. But like you said, I'm not worried about that tonight. We just need to stop this wrecking ball of a player, Luka Doncic, right now. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
What is a like breaking out of the slump game for you guys for Ben? Like, what does he have to do? Because for me, like the game against the Thunder, it's like amazing to me how 13 points can look so different from 10 points against New Orleans. And you could just see he was picking his spots better against the Thunder. Mind you, it's the Thunder, but just pulling up for those jump shots confidently. I did like that game from him in all reality. So I'm just wondering what like a breakout game would that be for you guys?
I honestly don't disagree. I know Superhero 18 and I go back and forth on Ben. I don't disagree with his take. Like 18, 8 and 8 is a great night. I'm not saying he's got to hit the 8 and 8 if he's 18, 5 and 6 or whatever. Fine too. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a 20-point night. I think a lot of people like really crave that 20-point plus number for Ben. I don't know. I honestly think 16 to 18 on an efficient night, like finishing around the rim, not missing 5 or 6 free throws. That to me is a coming out of a slump game for Ben Simmons. And Ben just look, man, he's got a swagger to him. He's got an anger. When Ben stuffs one and he gives you that flex and he yells at and he gives you a little scream, that's how I know Ben's in. Ben, when he's timid and kind of quiet, is just not an aggressive Ben. I know we have a comment, look for Ben to set the tone early. That's another thing for me, right? So against the Thunder, now he could have gotten bored by playing against them. They were blowing him out and they didn't play the fourth quarter. I get all that. But then he scored like 10 points early and he only finished. Right, so that's another thing. I'm not saying 12 points in every quarter, obviously. I'm not saying 12 points in the first quarter, 10 points in the first quarter, but scoring consistently throughout the game. Like Boston, for example. He didn't score a lot against Boston, but he attributed to a hell of a run to separate them in the third quarter, where he scored like 4 points in back-to-back possessions he scored and then assisted on like 2 more possessions, right? That scoring throughout the course of a game, 16, 17, 18 points, and finishing around the rim is effective to me. People see that 20 to 25 point number, and that's what they need. No, it's not what I need.
So, back to your question, an effective game. I don't know, you guys probably don't remember, but beginning of the year, Ben had that weekend where I think we played Boston that Friday night, and he only finished the game with like 17, 18 points, but dude, the fourth quarter, he had like 3 steals. He had the game-clinching dunk that put them ahead. It's like, that's the kind of thing you need where it's like, one, he's locking down on one side of the ball and just causing absolute havoc.
But then that translates to his offense.
Exactly. And it turns a lot to – and sometimes it's his buckets, sometimes it's not. I mean, there's a lot of situations, in my opinion, where there's a 2-on-1 and Ben probably could just lay the ball up, but a lot of the time he's drop off and it's another dunk for somebody else. It's just – that's a good comment by Abe. It's just aggressive and like ducking his head down. And he did it against Oklahoma City. Like you said, the first 2 possessions, he got a layup. Then he had that little like curl around jumper. Then he hit his elbow jumper. So, I mean, like you saw it there, but you guys are right. This whole 20 and 25 points is the only way you can break out. And, Brandon Ingram had 17 points. Well, he shot 21 shots. So I don't know. I hate Brandon Ingram.
There's just certain, matchups for Ben specifically. I'm thinking about that Pelicans game, and you think back, it's like, how do you stop Zion? And it's like the easiest way in my eyes is to get him in foul trouble. And that's what Ben, that's a game where Ben, I want him to be super aggressive, press on Zion, take him to the paint, draw fouls. And obviously he didn't do that. So it's something like that. I agree with everything that you guys are saying.
Love the question there, Scott, because it is something that, like, I feel like he really could. I feel like he could dominate Luka tonight and have 15-7-6 or 14-7-6 on 4 of 6 shooting, and people will be, and they'll win, and people still need more. That 20-point number, for whatever reason, is a number people I don't just crave, and I mean I don't get it. But before we wrap up today's show, I need predictions from you guys. I need standout stars, and I need predictions. Again, I know you have maybe not a bad feeling about the game overall, but Ben, on the defensive end tonight, I'll start with you. Can the Sixers take 3 out of 4 on their 4-game road stand and come home with a chance to take and extend their first place lead over the Nets?
Yeah, I do think they're going to win. I think it's going to be like a really high-scoring game. I shouldn't say really high-scoring. Just sorry, Abe. I'm going to say they're going to win. But like 115 to like 108, and I think Tobias has just a game tonight. You look at like we're trying to find like who are they going to put on Ben? If they put Finney Smith on Ben, that leaves what? Josh Richardson, Luka Doncic, and Tim Hardaway Jr. as someone to match up with Tobias.
Yeah.
And what do we say about Tobias? 6'8" grown man bucket. So I like Tobias to have a game tonight, and the Sixers.
Hopefully he plays. It's game time decision, I saw, but
oh yeah, well, if he doesn't play, if he doesn't play, I'm picking Korkmaz.
Go ahead, Scott. Predictions and a standout star.
Yeah, I got the Sixers tonight. They played them pretty tough last time. I know KP didn't play, but he's not. I don't know. I just look at Embiid. I don't think they have a matchup for him. Whether it's him drawing double teams and assisting out of it for open shots, I think he's going to control the game tonight. So once again, I'll go with Embiid and I'll go with the W. I think the Sixers kind of. I won't say need to win this game, but to take a little bit of the pressure off for Wednesday, go ahead and take this game and get ready for Wednesday against the Nets, which is going to be a pretty important game.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to die on this hill. I am taking the Sixers to win, and I'm doing it on Ben Simmons as my standout star. I think that he straps up Luka Doncic. And look, people can see Luka have 24 points tonight, but he could take 20 plus shots to get that. People won't care. They'll just see the number.
It'll be a better game than Ben with 12 points and 5 from the field.
Yeah, I think Ben affects him. I think Ben gets scrappy on the defensive end. And I'm going to say it. Ben at least gets 15 tonight. That's what I'm going to say. I don't want to say he's going to get 18, 19. He at least gets 15. He's great on the defensive end, and he facilitates. And he will not turn the ball over more than 3 times tonight. Ben Simmons is my standout star. I'm dying on this hill. Ben, come on. Please hear me and don't let me down, man, because I don't want to have to eat my words tomorrow in a win or a loss. So with that being said, you can follow me on Twitter at DylanJD98. You can follow Ginn on Twitter at Matt_McGinty. Follow Scott at Scotty Drowned. Scott, you just dropped an episode today of Scotty Talks NBA Mondays. Tell the people where they can find that.
Yeah, definitely. If you go to my page on Twitter at Scotty Drowned, you'll find it all over my page. I've been putting the link out all day. But on Heat Ratio Sports YouTube page, you can go and find that latest episode. I had Phil and Mike from All About the Birds. We talked some NBA. It was fun. Check it out.
Always good stuff from Scotty. Again, we do have news and information dropping soon on something in the works with me and Scott. So look forward to that, football fans. But yeah, and you can give the Painted Lines a follow on Twitter, as we are brought to you by the Painted Lines, at the Painted Lines on Twitter, and then subscribe to their YouTube channel and their Twitch channel. If you are new, like this video, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Everybody, go Phillies, go Sixers, and hopefully we have a 2-0 night in Philadelphia.